Thanks for joining us here on Thistle Hill Farmstead. Today is the second video in our series of building an electric fence here on the farm for our cows. Today we're going to install the insulators on the end posts in preparation for pulling the wire. So stay with us for that, and remember to smash that like button if you like this video, and subscribe to keep up to date with all of our videos, and ring that bell notification so you're notified whenever we post a new video. So I'm going to start out by connecting these insulators up and putting them around the poles to pull the wire with. So I'll loop these around and do that.
So the first thing I'm going to do here is just kind of center up this insulator on the wire and bend it around there, and then twist it up here on the end so that it kind of stays in one spot. There we go. Get it twisted around there, good. And then once that's twisted, then I can take these two long ends and wrap around the pole. So here I've went and got my crimpers and the sleeves that are needed for that. I'm going to wrap this around the pole here, and then the other side, and then I'll slide these sleeves on, which you use to crimp to keep the wire in place. Just kind of bending it around right now to get it in place. Okay, now I'm going to grab some sleeves here. And I'm going to slide one on each end of these little pigtails I have here, and then I'll crimp them once I get it wrapped around the poles. So I just put it on one end, and then once I wrap it around, I'll be able to slide the other end in. And here I'm just kind of going to straighten the end out a little bit to make it easier for them to slide in. Okay, so I'll wrap that around, and then I can grab that little sleeve and slide it up on that end, and then do the same over on this end, just sliding that tail into the sleeve. When the wire's at an angle or kind of rounded like that, it's a bit hard to get in, but you can just work with it and get it to slide up on there. And I'm trying to tighten it up on the pole here, but what I'm learning is that that wire might be just a little bit too short, and I think on the next one you'll see that in here I decided to go up to the next pole so that I'm not sitting on the ground trying to get this first one around here. This is a bit short, and you'll see on the next one that I make the wire a little bit longer, because it does wrap around the pole nicely, but the problem I found is that once you get it wrapped around there, you can't get the crimpers on the wire because there's not enough space between the edge of the wire and the pole to get the crimpers in there. So here I'm just using my pliers to try to straighten out the end a little bit, get it through, and then once I slide it through, I'm kind of bending a little loop in the end so that it doesn't slide back off while I'm working with the other side. And that helps too if these crimps happen to slide. It won't just slide off the wire here. I'm bending another little loop on the end. Man, it's a bit windy too. Okay, so I've got those on now. I'm going to try to crimp it, and I I found out too, this crimper, it's almost a two-person operation because you've got to hold the wire away from the pole. You have to hold the crimpers open and get them around that little sleeve in the correct orientation, because that thing's not round, it's oblong, and you have to get the oblong section in these crimpers in just the right way to crimp it. And you see how I'm trying to get it in there, and if you don't have it in there the right way, it won't close and crimp. So here we go again. And I found out, I'm not sure if it's with all crimpers or if it's just these that I borrowed from the neighbor, but I couldn't open the crimpers up and just slide it straight onto the sleeve. I had to kind of, because it didn't open far enough, so I kind of had to go to the edge and slide the sleeve, the crimping sleeve, into the jaws of the crimper from the side before I could get it crimped. Which again, the fact that I put the wire so close to the pole, it looks nice aesthetically, but it just is not working out too well when you try to get these crimpers on there. Okay, there we go, got that one crimped. And you really need to kind of give this thing two crimps, one in the front and one in the back, to get it nice and squeezed on there, nice and tight. Okay, I think I've got the first one on there.
Okay, so there's my first line. Let's keep going. I cut that first piece of wire 36 inches long. That's long enough, but it might be a little easier to work with if I made it longer. Let's see, 36, make it 4 foot. Give me a little more working wire. Okay. Okay, that'll hold my insulator. Slide my insulator on. All right, so that's my first post with my insulators. I'll go down to the corner post. I really only have 3 of these to do. This one, the corner post, and then the last one. So I think I'm going to also go ahead and put on my tensioners too while I'm here. So here are my tensioners.
So the way I'm going to connect this is basically just with this wire. I'm going to take this wire and go across the insulator and then through the tensioner. And what this tensioner does, per its name, is it tensions the wire that you put in the other side via this ratchet mechanism on the end of it. So here I'm just pulling the wire through and putting it through the end of the tensioner and kind of looping it back on itself. And once I get it pulled back here, I'll go get my crimping sleeves and the crimping tool and slide these sleeves on. I'm going to use 2 sleeves on this just so that I make sure it's good and tight. And then I'm going to work this other wire into the sleeves. And this can be a little challenging sometimes because when you cut the wire, it puts this tiny little crimp in the end of the wire, and sometimes that's hard to get started into the sleeve. Once you get it through the crimping sleeve and get it up on there, then it slides pretty easily up and down the wire. Now this wire I've bent a little bit, and which makes it harder to slide those sleeves up and down on, but if you have a nice straight piece of wire, it's not bad at all to slide up and down. So here I'm just kind of trying to work the wires together a bit to make it a little bit shorter so I don't have so much distance between my insulator and the tensioner. And once I get these pushed together, and I'm trying to be careful, I don't have my gloves on, so I don't want to jam one of these wires into my hand. So I'm being a little careful here with that. I guess I could just have went and got my gloves and put them on. So I'm just kind of working with it here a bit to try to get everything the way I want it. And now you can see I have wire sticking out on both sides of those crimping sleeves. And I've bent it up a little bit to keep the sleeves from sliding down or up. And now I'm going to crimp it with the crimping tool. And as I mentioned before, when I was doing the insulators on the post, it's kind of difficult to do this one person, just because it's hard to get the crimper onto the little crimping sleeves in the right orientation. You almost need somebody to hold the wire for you while you get the crimpers on. But and as you can see here, if you don't get it exactly right, you can't close it. See how I'm trying to squeeze it closed and it won't go? So you got to have it right, the orientation correct with the crimpers, so that it can squeeze it. So I've just about got it crimped well here. I'm just going over each one of them a couple of times.
Okay.
Now I'm going to just trim up the pigtails that I've got sticking out on the wire here. I'm going to bend a little loop over backwards so that if these crimps happen to slide on the wire, they won't just slide off. So I'm just bending a little loop over the end and then cutting the wire back. That way, if it does slide, it'll catch up against that loop and not pull out. So again, I'm trimming the wire, making sure I catch those little pieces. I don't want them to fall in the field. I don't want any animals eating them or stepping on them. Okay, so there we go. Now, if you can see, you see the crimps, the sleeves, and then the two little ears that I crimped back on it. So that looks pretty good. So now let's work on the rest of them.
All right, where's the end? It's like a giant slinky. I see it. Right there it is. All right. Maybe I need to just, I think I'm going to have to take this insulator out past this thing. So that's too close for that. Also, alright, let me do that. Well, take that back off. Need one more. Okay. All right, so let's go down and work on the other side. Okay, here we are down on the other corner post, and I'm going to do the same process of putting my insulators on. What are you doing, baby? You got your frisbee? You want me to throw it? Ready, go. Did you bring it back already? You ready? Go. All right. Oh, there's always time to play. All right, hang on. Let's let the fans see you catch. You ready? Okay, you ready? Set, go. Yeah, there you go. Bring it back. Leave it. Ready, set, go. All right, good girl. Good boy, Charlie. All right, leave it, leave it. You ready, set, go. Yeah, okay. down close where you can see one of these. Alrighty. Okay. So I've got my tensioner. And then I'm going to put it around my insulator. Bring these ends around. And my little crimper doodads. Putting 2 on here. Maybe not needed, but definitely doesn't hurt. Now I'm going to pull this up fairly tight. Like that, I think. And I'll slide these on. Maybe. Yeah. Too close. There we go. Once you get it on there, it goes. It's just a matter of getting it up on there. There we go. And once I get it on there, I like to bend one end over. That way it keeps it from sliding back. And this, if it ever does slip, kind of keeps the keeps it from slipping off and coming apart. All right, so now we just got to get it crimped. Up a little further for clamping here. Like maybe right there. Hey Charlie, what are you doing, bud? Okay, so it's crimped. I'm going to cut this excess off. This one might have made a little short, but it really doesn't matter. As long as it's there. There we go. That one. Yeah, not too bad. That'll work. Let's do another one. On this bad boy. Oh, I think I'll sit down for this one. Around here. This is a bit long too. I'll need to cut it off a bit. I'm getting my crimper here. There we go, this went on pretty easy. All about having the wire kind of straight on the end so that they go on there nice. Let's get it a little further up. Crimpers on there. Put the crimp on it. Okay, see that? Crimp. Slide it down. Crimp it again. And slide it down to the next one. Alright, cut this tail off a little bit. Bring this around. Bring this one around. Okay, there we go. I don't like to turn these sideways. Hey, Charlie. Okay. I think that's got it. Now, we're ready to put some wire on these bad boys. Set these back up where I don't lose them. Okay.
Well, that's going to be all for today. Join us next time when we will be pulling the wire for the electric fence.